Hello, my name's Gary, welcome to my channel, welcome back if you've been here before. So today I'm going to look inside this, the box for the Boeing B-17G Flying Fortress in 1/72nd scale from Airfix. Now, if you're thinking of buying one, this is the video for you. I'll show you what you get. I'll also have a quick look at the history of the B-17, so put it into some sort of historical context. If you've already got one and you want to know how to make it, then there is a companion video showing you how I made my own kit. Now, if you find the video useful, perhaps even interesting, then you can see other videos and other projects you've been up to by clicking on the link in the bottom right corner there and subscribing to the channel. If you really like what I'm doing, you might want to give some thought to supporting the channel. You can do that through Patreon or buy me a coffee, and links to those are in the information box below. Also in the box below is a link to the Airfix online site. If you go through this link and buy anything at all, then at no extra cost to you, this channel gets some pennies from Airfix. Of course, if you're in the Airfix club, buying online, you'll also get a 10% online discount. So, with that out of the way, let's get on and have a look at the history of the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress. The Boeing B-17 was a four-engined heavy bomber that has become an icon in the history of air warfare, especially over Europe. In 1934, the US Army Air Corps issued a requirement for a bomber to replace the Martin B-10. The requirement specified being able to reach Hawaii, Alaska or Panama from the continental USA. Boeing, Douglas and Martin all submitted entries. The Douglas design was the twin-engined DB-1 based on the company's DC-2 airliner. Martin offered the also twin-engined Model 146. The four-engined Boeing design was initially called the Model 299. A reporter at the Seattle Times, seeing the numerous defensive guns on the Model 299, dubbed the aircraft a 15-ton flying fortress. Boeing quickly trademarked the name. During a fly-off, the Martin design was quickly rejected. The Boeing Model 299 was doing very well until a crash on takeoff, later identified as due to control locks being left in place. After that incident, the Douglas design went on to be ordered as the B-18 Bolo. The DB-1 also had a lower unit price, a very important consideration during the Great Depression. Orders for the YB-17, as the Boeing aircraft had become known, were cancelled. However, the US Army Air Corps still wanted to see what the B-17 could do. They exploited a legal loophole in a contract, and in 1936 were able to order 13 YB-17s for service testing. One positive outcome from the Model 299 accident was the introduction of a pre-flight checklist, a safety check completed by every aircraft crew on all types of aircraft around the world to this day. The B-17 entered service in 1939. Various improvements to the design and the engines led to the B-17E and the B-17F, the first models truly designed for offensive warfare. They had a larger tail fin, better flaps and better defensive armament. Shipped to Europe in large numbers, the B-17 became the backbone of the US 8th Air Force, based in the UK, flying daylight raids over Europe. Despite its numerous guns and box formations for mutual defence, the B-17 suffered losses from anti-aircraft fire and fighter attack. The Luftwaffe discovered that the best approach was a head-on attack, and many B-17s were shot down this way. Thus the B-17G was born, increasing the number of defensive guns from 7 to 13, including forward-firing guns in a chin turret. In combat, the B-17 would routinely carry over 11,000 50 caliber rounds for defence, in addition to its bomb load of between 4,000 and 8,000 pounds. Eventually, long-range escort fighters, such as the P-51 Mustang, gave the B-17 crews a fighter shield all the way to Germany and back. The B-17 was well known by its crews as being capable of taking extreme damage and still flying home. However, the US 8th Air Force still suffered over 47,000 casualties during the bombing campaign, half of the entire US Army Air Force casualties from the whole war. 12,731 B-17s were made, the second largest number for an American bomber. About 2/3 of these were the B-17G model. 46 B-17 aircraft are currently preserved, and 9 of these are still flying as an ever-popular exhibit on the airshow circuit. This kit of the B-17G comes from a 2016 tooling. This is the 2021 release, the 4th re-release so far, which brings new decals. The box is top opening and sturdy. Inside, the first thing we see is the instruction booklet. This is quite big as there are a lot of parts, 245 in total, to be expected from a 4-engine bomber with so many defensive guns. The layout is good, with well drawn and clear diagrams. Then there are the colour and decal sheets. First is Scheme A, the box art version, an aircraft of the 708th Bomber Squadron of the US 8th Air Force based at Rasselson in England. The other is Scheme B, an aircraft charmingly entitled $5 with Breakfast, which flew with the 851st Bomb Squadron out of RAFI. Finally, there's the sheet of stencil placements, remarkably few for a US aircraft. Next out of the box is the decal sheet. These are cartograph details printed to the usual very high standards of sharpness and colour fidelity. At the top are the common decals, these are the national markings and the main stencils. Next, the Scheme A markings, including the wing inverted V markings and the green tail hoops. Finally, the 851st Bomb Squadron aircraft with lots of red identification flashes. Finally then, the plastic, 9 grey sprues and 1 clear. These 4 are all the fuselage, wing and tail pieces. Then there's another 4 covering the engines, interior structures and fittings and the armament. Finally, another grey sprue for the undercarriage and the large clear sprue for all the many transparencies. This kit has some complicated bits to do from time to time, so it's been rated at skill level 3 by Airfix, suggesting that previous model making experience is desirable. The kit also comes with a token for 3 flying hours. You can collect these as a member of the Airfix Club towards a free model in future, or you can donate them to Models for Heroes. A link to this excellent charity is in the information box below. So there we go. That's the kit. It's a great one. It will reward a bit of time and effort, and it is really suitable more for someone who's made 1 or 2 kits in the past. However, do spend the time and you will get an amazing result. Now, if you've liked the video, do please remember to subscribe to the channel. Click on the link in the bottom right corner there, and you'll see more videos that I've made, get notification of new ones, new projects as they turn up. Don't forget to check out Monday Matters every Monday for news and views and occasional rumours, and also what I'm up to for the following week. You might also want to check out Figure Friday if you're into figure painting and wargaming. In any case, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.